Lipscomb and Pitts Insurance has been serving the Mid-South since 1954. We've always focused on supporting our community and believed in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb and Pitts is proud to be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.
Additional production funding of The Spark is provided by Christian Brothers University.
This month on The Spark, our theme revolves around home. We'll learn more about an organization providing homeless families a pause in life with free temporary housing and the means to reestablish their independence, a Memphis-based heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company that is national in scope yet focused locally on our youth and mentoring, and a nonprofit centered in the comfort of a home that is helping victims become children again. Have you ever been excited by a new idea, inspired by watching someone lead by example? When we talk about creating change, we start by sharing the stories of everyday heroes who are making a difference in their own way, so we can learn and do the same. This truth is the power behind this show, which is focused on business and community leaders that are leading by example to give back, fuel change, and create new opportunities for the Mid-South. I'm Jeremy Park, and this is The Spark. The theme this month on The Spark is home, and I can't think of a more appropriate way to start out than with an organization providing temporary housing and shelter to homeless families here in the Mid-South. I'm here with Sister Maureen Greiner. She's with Dorothy Day House of Hospitality, and amazing way in terms of forming Dorothy Day House of Hospitality. Started with a prayer and an appreciation for Dorothy Day herself. Explain that in a little more detail.
There was a small group of us back in 2003 who were interested in Dorothy Day. And after attending a workshop about her life and her spirituality, we decided that we wanted to do something to address poverty in Memphis. Dorothy Day had addressed poverty by opening her own home in New York City for homeless people. So in May of 2006, we opened a house specifically for homeless families, a house where we can keep husbands and wives and children together during their time of homelessness.
Because that is something that makes you guys very different, is the fact that you're keeping the nuclear family together. So many times, older son has to be kind of split off from the family.
That's right.
Husbands and wives may not be able to stay together, but you're giving them a room to themselves. They share a common area, but the key is keeping the nuclear family together.
There's a real trauma that goes with homelessness when the family split up. The mother in one shelter with the children and the father in a different shelter, they can hardly think about what to do next because they're so concerned about each other. So we find that keeping them together and providing a stable place where they're safe at night, where they know they're going to get a meal for the next day, really helps them to get on their way.
And so the thing that I like is you've taken this home. I mean, it's a home.
It is.
And it's centrally located, so it's near grocery stores and schools, everything that's important obviously to a family. But you've basically converted that, rehabbed it, and turned it into this amazing opportunity for hope. Describe the home.
Well, first of all, it's not an institution. We feel very strongly that it needs to feel like a home for these families. So they do their own cooking, they do the cleaning, they are really responsible for the house. We are not there monitoring their activities most of the time. And we really encourage them to think of it as a home, as their own home. There's no sign outside, so it just looks like another house on the block. And because of that, many people are very surprised when they come for the first time because they didn't even realize we were there.
Well, I like the fact that you see it and there's kids' bicycles out front. I mean, it very much is a home. So let's go ahead and show viewers. When we're talking about, what is the Dorothy Day House of Hospitality and what is kind of a typical day there look like, let's go ahead and give viewers a little inside glance.
I'm back on track again because this is what the Dorothy Day House does. It's for families that's like in transition, which we were. Here in Memphis looking for a job, no house to stay in a hotel room there till I find a job. They got me here at the Dorothy Day House where my family can stay together so they won't have to separate us all, and we just lived, and pretty much they give the house to you and say, this is your house, you take care of it like it's yours, which we did. And all the other opportunities came together with it, and all this came together. Then when I found my job, they were still there. I don't have to pay any bills. All the bills are paid. That's the best thing because, once you start getting a check or two, they didn't ask for any money or anything because they got a lot of people that helps out, you know, for people like us in transition until I got on my feet, and they still here for me now today, even though I'm still, you know, have my house. You know, they don't turn it back after you leave. They just want to make sure we never fall in the predicament like we did before. So it's an ongoing thing. They never stop. The good deeds never stop.
So we just saw a little bit of the day in the life of the Dorothy Day House of Hospitality. One of the things that makes you different is that you focus on situational homelessness. Describe what that means.
We normally say that our families come to us from 3 different circumstances. One might be a crisis or a catastrophe that's happened, like a fire in their apartment complex, or a car wreck that caused them to lose their job and then lose their financial stability. A second condition is those who are either underemployed or unemployed, and that's happened a lot because of the recession. Right. Third are those families who are part of generational poverty, who have really never had stability in home life and who have been part of generational poverty through no fault of their own. So we take families from all 3 of those categories and we work with them very specifically on the goals that they need to set in order to get stability again.
And that's one of the things that I like, is that you assess them on the front end so you get to know what happened, know their story.
That's right. But
then also too, you provide all these wraparound support services and volunteers to come in and help with everything from education, tutoring, mentoring, financial planning, all of those. Describe how volunteers play a very integral role in this.
Well, first of all, one of the main miracles of the Dorothy Day House is that I'm the only full-time employee.
Right.
We ran on volunteers for years and years, and I just became a full-time employee. I have a secretary that works 20 hours a week, and otherwise everything is done by volunteers. So we have volunteers coming in regularly to do all kinds of things, sorting donations, helping with fundraisers, doing yard work, doing maintenance, tutoring, helping with budgeting. Everything that needs to be done virtually is done by volunteers. We think that's important because it helps the families to know that the greater Memphis area cares about them. Absolutely. That there are hundreds and thousands of people in the city who really want to help and really want hands-on work with homeless families. That's encouraging to them and to us as well.
And you're providing that love and compassion not only with the free temporary shelter and those support services. It's love is a very vital ingredient in this. As the last piece of this, you have a number of great success stories. Share maybe a recent one.
We recently had a family who came to Memphis and by bus and ended up in a motel close to the bus station. They called us from there, said they had no money, no food, didn't know what to do next. We took them into the Dorothy Day House. Through really great providence, both the husband and wife were able to get employment within just a few days. They got full-time jobs. And within 6 weeks, we were able to put them into a 3-bedroom rental home that's very close to schools for the children. And we furnished that home with donations from people all over the city. And now we're following up with them to be sure that they're okay and that their stability goes on.
Nice, and that's why I love the Dorothy Day House and all you guys do. So greatly appreciate your efforts in the community, and thank you, Sister Marie, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
They're headquartered in a home. The tagline is helping victims become children again. I'm here with the Executive Director of the Memphis Child Advocacy Center, Nancy Williams. Give us an idea of the work that you guys are doing, because I love that you're a collaborative agency. You're pulling together all these pieces, and I don't want to go too far into it, but give us the background on Memphis Child Advocacy Center.
The Child Advocacy Center is 20 years old this month, and our role is to provide the services for children at the time of an investigation of severe abuse, sexual or severe physical abuse. Our role as a Child Advocacy Center is threefold. One, it's headquarters. It's a warm, comfortable atmosphere, a home.
Right.
That's one thing. We also provide a place for those who investigate the abuse to be working together in the same environment. And then thirdly, we provide services for the children and their families during a time when they have stepped forward, courageously so, and have said, this abuse has to stop, or they've told a family member or a friend or a teacher. We are there to provide counseling, trauma therapy, and we're also there to provide child-sensitive forensic interviews for those children.
And I think that's the thing that is really unique, is that as a parent you can appreciate, you don't want the child to have to go through this over and over retelling the story and go to all these multiple different parties and entities. You're bringing it all together, you're collaborating, you're doing it in an environment that's friendly and inviting and warm, and you have specialists that are trained to work with children all together, correct?
Yes, and I would say the child interview specialists who we have at the Child Advocacy Center are often in a community like ours, there are many child advocacy centers, the most skilled interviewers of children, developmentally appropriate interviews and forensically sound, legally defensible interviews, because that's what we know will help the investigators to figure out what happened, if anything happened, and it will also be less traumatic, in fact not traumatic, for the child to be able to tell their story.
So relying and kind of dovetailing off of that in terms of the comforting atmosphere, talk about the teddy bears and the teddy bear wall.
Well, we have 54 cubbies, we call them, and there may be 8 or 10 bears in each cubby. It's a whole wall that the child walks by when they're going to figure out what it is they need with their family, and those bears are given to us by the community. So those bears are given to the children as they leave the center. They come from the community, we keep them for a while in their cubby, and then a child chooses a bear when they leave. It's a part, a small part, but yet an important part of that child's experience at the Child Advocacy Center.
Because I know many of them, they take it to courtrooms with them. I mean, that really symbolizes their comfort, their nurturing, their spirit. So it plays a very vital role in the child's success. So let's go ahead and let's take a little bit of a look. I know that our District Attorney, Amy Weirich, has a lot of great things to say in terms of the importance of the Child Advocacy Center. And so let's hear from her on why this is so critical, the work that you're doing in the community.
Child Advocacy Center helps victims of child abuse begin the healing process, the children that have been victimized as well as their families. It also helps us in the quest for justice and holding offenders accountable. The Stewards of Children is a training program that the CAC offers to anyone and everyone in Shelby County who is interested in doing what they can to make sure less of our children are victimized sexually and physically. Any church, any coach, anybody that teaches Sunday school, anybody that teaches piano lessons in their home, again, anybody that knows children or has children should take advantage of this wonderful opportunity that the CAC is offering. It's the only evidence-based program out there to help us reduce the number of kids who are victimized sexually and physically. The more that the community gets behind the energy and the good mission that the CAC is all about, the better off we're all going to be.
So we just saw a little bit about the role that you play in the community, why it's so critically important. We'll say on the front end of what we talked about, that's the reactionary side, all of that work, but you also do a lot to be proactive in the community and to get out in front of this. And so share with us about Stewards of Children.
Stewards of Children, as you know, is our signature training prevention program, and it's for adults. We've always provided training as a part of our mission. However, about 5 years ago, we took a look at what the latest research is saying, and what we learned is it's not right to put the burden of reporting on a child. It is an adult responsibility. Absolutely. And so we created, or we provided this program called Stewards of Children. Now about 8,000 folks in our community have had it. Nice. And it really does help an adult act responsibly to a possible abuse of a child, and also it helps adults perhaps minimize the opportunity for someone to abuse a child.
And so the key is it's about a 2.5-hour workshop, obviously trained professionals leading it, and it's really just the cost of the workbook, about $10 to actually go through it, so very minimal cost on that end. And really perfect for adults, youth-serving organizations, because I think one of the things that's important to know for parents is that many times it's someone that has a relationship, someone that the child knows. The average age of reporting is about 9 years old, so the statistics are really incredible, and you get to understand all of those dynamics, but also too you're educated on what to look for, how to react responsibly, limiting one-on-one interaction to make it more group, so you learn a ton. What are some of the things that maybe viewers might not know but really stood out to you?
Well, when I participated in the training, my aha moment came when I realized that as parents, grandparents, we need to be asking the people who are helping us to take care of our children what their child protection policy is, what is their child safety policy. It's great that we have people who are willing to assist us, and the thing that we need to realize is there are ways to minimize the opportunity for abuse, and often that is when a child is not with us, but with a teacher, with a coach, with a next door neighbor. So that whole idea of a child protection policy, child safety policy was something new, and actually we can help folks come up with those policies, but we certainly will learn in the training about asking.
And so I know there's an 800 number, 877, it's 877-237-0004 is the hotline that people can call with a suspicion. But there's obviously a lot more to it, which is why it's so important to go through the Stewards of Children training.
It is a valuable training, pays off in a lot of ways, and particularly in the safety of 10 children.
There you go. So greatly appreciate everything you're doing in the community, and thank you, Nancy, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
We all know that love makes a house a home. Well, when we're in the heat of the summertime, air conditioning definitely makes a house a home. So we're here with the Chief Financial Officer, Jim McMahon of American Residential Services, fondly known as ARS. Yep. You're a nationwide company with a local presence. Give viewers a snapshot. What does ARS mean? What is American Residential Services? What do you guys do?
Well, American Residential Services provides heating, air conditioning, and plumbing services, and also re-installation services to consumers, residential mainly. We're in 21 states with 65 locations, but locally you'd know us as Conway Services. So we purchased Conway Services in July of 2010, and we have a great affiliation with John Conway. We're very pleased to be in the Memphis market. Today, as you know, it's 101 degrees outside. It's about 100 in here too, so it's pretty warm outside, and it's a great day to be in this market in Memphis. But one of the things we like is we get the chance to really do a good job in the Memphis community, and I think Conway's customer service attitude, which has really just been fantastic, is the reason that we bought this business.
And part of the fun on my end is that you guys have really grown a lot. And so when it comes to Mid-South job creation, you're a big part of that. Describe what's going on there, especially with Conway Services here locally, in terms of just the number of jobs and opportunities you're providing.
Yeah, well, when we bought Conway, one of the things we wanted to make sure is we had the right business. We wanted to make sure we had the right toehold in the right market, and we really wanted somebody that had the best customer service attitude. So simple things that told us that we could build the business were things like the way you treated customers. When someone walked into a home, they had booties on their feet, and we treated the customer with respect, and we always treated the customer very well in the entire process. It's important. It was part of John's culture. So when we bought the business, John had 46 employees. Those type of things, the fact that customers will recommend us to other customers, which is really the key, have taken the 46 employees to 116 today. So the opportunity for job creation in Memphis, they're great jobs. I mean, the person who works for us, it's a HVAC technician or a plumber. Those are skilled jobs. They're well-paying jobs. They take a technical expertise that someone has to learn and know. And John working through the trade programs that are locally available here, and John helping to support those in the community, has really made a big difference and been a big reason we've been able to grow the business as well as we have.
Nice. So you guys are heavily engaged in the community. That's one of the things that I really love about ARS. Everything from St. Jude, the Church Health Center, to the Tennessee Baptist Children's Home, where you're adopting a whole cottage, from schools, education, I mean, you name it, all the way through the Salvation Army, Memphis Tomorrow, just goes on and on and on. So heavily engaged in the community. And one of the things that I like is that, as you alluded to with the job creation, you're heavily involved in mentorship. And obviously on a number of fronts, but specifically with Conway Services, you're bringing in the young up-and-coming leaders. You're teaching them not only the hard skills, but also, too, the etiquette, the soft skills, putting the booties on, little things like that. Describe, because I know we're going to see it in just a second with the Kick Out feature, but describe a little bit about the mentorship program.
Well, the mentorship program just works with the local trade schools to get opportunities for Mid-South students to learn a trade, to be involved in a business. And John, in our business, Conway Services, gives them the opportunity to learn that hands-on. You know, they get the skills they need from the trade school, but they also get the working environment to test those skills and understand it. And I think we also, with the training we do, which is pretty much daily training, we really spend a lot of time on the soft side, on the customer service side, and how to treat somebody when you go into the home, what kind of respect you have for somebody's property and the way you treat them. And I think that makes a big difference.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and show viewers exactly what we're talking about with the mentorship program.
Well, you know, once or twice a year, we're able to come across some really good service technicians, veterans in the field that we're able to hire. But for the most part, we've kind of came to the point where we know we need to kind of grow our own technicians. And by doing that, we've partnered with a couple of the trade schools. And the first thing we look for is guys with great character. And we know if they have great character, they're going to fit well in our organization. You know, and then the next thing we do is coming from the trade schools, they usually have a solid foundation. Then we'll bring them into our install department, and so they'll work in our install department installing systems in existing homes, working hand in hand with our install crews, and then we move them all the way through to into our maintenance department where they're cleaning systems or maintaining systems, and then we'll bring them all the way up to service and then into sales.
It means a lot to me because I have 4 kids to take care of and my wife, obviously, and you know, I've always been a hard worker, and just an opportunity is all I need. You know, with an opportunity, I can do great things, and he gives us opportunities daily.
So we just saw a little bit about the mentorship program, but piggybacking on that, education is a really key component to this as well. Share with us about Education That Works.
Yeah, Education That Works is a really exciting program that we've helped sponsor since 2007. It's involved with Memphis Catholic High School, and basically what it is the students from their freshman year to their senior year spend a day a week, every day, working in a business in the community. So partners like, I mean, we're not the only ones, FedEx, St. Jude's, and others have teamed up with Memphis Catholic, and these kids wouldn't have the opportunity to get into a business environment and probably pay for their education as well. So the dollars that it costs us to be in the program, we would use otherwise to have some clerical support that we would pay an outside agency, probably things that our own people are too busy to do, just little things. And it gives these students an unbelievable opportunity to get out of high school, get out of the urban environment. They come from 30 different zip codes. They are the diversity that we are in Memphis, and they get a chance to come into the business community and work. And the best part is, as you probably remember, when you first graduate from school, I mean, you're terrified when you go out in the business world. You really don't know what it is. Now think about these kids. I mean, they may come from a single parent family. You know, they probably haven't been in a professional environment a whole lot.
Right.
And this gives them a chance as a freshman to kind of just get their feet wet. And by the time they're seniors, I mean, they shine. The program so far, since we've been involved in 2007, the last 5 years, 100% graduation rate of these kids.
Which is phenomenal. The thing that I look at is it's like an internship, but even better because you're getting to watch them mature over the course of being a freshman all the way to the senior. And so they're getting professional experience. I mean, they're stepping foot in an office environment that many times you don't even get that until you're in college. And so they're getting that in high school.
Right.
The other aspect is you're paying them so that they're able to not only put that money toward their school, so very much like a scholarship, but I know many of them use it to save up a little bit for college as well.
Yeah,
so on both ends.
They basically, it helps support their other funds that they would need for high school. And it's mainly for the high school piece, but it gives them the opportunity towards the scholarships, with 63% of the kids getting scholarships. And then we've had a couple of our seniors who've come back that want to work for us in the summertime, and we love it because they're great. They know the business. They're really productive and helpful. They've gone from that poor freshman sitting around, trying to figure out how the life works to really being helpful in the business community, and we're excited about that. It's a great program.
So education that works.
Education that
all
works.
the way around.
Absolutely.
Well, I greatly appreciate not only everything you guys are doing on the business side, but really on the community side. I mean, you guys are huge advocates. So Jim, thank you very much for coming on the show. I greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome, Jeremy. Thanks.
You often hear it said that home is where the heart is, but as you saw in this month's episode, a home can also be a place of healing, comfort, and renewal for a second chance with life. For all of us, home should represent family, happiness, warmth, and security. But what makes a house a home is the same thing that makes these organizations successful in helping others: love. Love is the spark that provides temporary shelter and the support to help a homeless family get back on their feet again. It's the driver in a company to help youth in our community with their education. And it's the key to helping children walk through difficult days to return with a smile on their face. Indeed, love is a powerful thing. So thank you for watching The Spark. To learn more about each of the guests and to interact with your stories of others leading by example, visit thesparktv.org. We look forward to seeing you next month, and we hope that you'll join with us in creating a spark for the Mid-South.